Hey everyone, my name is Brent Falco and I work with Branca USA. Today we're going to be doing two cocktails. We're going to be doing the Manhattan and the classic Negroni. Both of these are classic cocktails. Both of these have one of the main ingredients, which is Carpano Antica formula. We now just say Antica formula. This is our beautiful baby. That is what we'll be using with the Manhattan and with the Negroni. And we're also going to showcase today our Carpano bitter, which was just released in the United States. So we're really, really excited about this. So let's start with the Manhattan. With this, I actually like to do the Manhattan in a stirring glass. So we're going to go 1 ounce with Carpano Antica right there. And then you want to do 2 ounces of your favorite whiskey. I prefer when I use my whiskey a high rye. So look at that if you're deciding to use a bourbon or anything else. I think with Antica, high rye really sets this off. So we're going to go 2 ounces here. We are going to add, this is a dasher. So if you actually have, let's say, Angostura or another bitters in one of their bottles, I would say go, if it's all the way full, you can go 8 dashes. As it goes down, then I would say about 3 or 4 just because you're going to get more out of it. So I'm doing 8 dashes in this because a little dasher bottle actually helps you calculate it. We're going to add ice. Now this ice I'm going to put all the way to the top just because I want to keep it chilled, but I want to add the right solution to this. And what that means really is when you're stirring, you're just adding water back into the cocktail. It helps like marry these ingredients together to really create what is that classic cocktail. And also helps release the aromatics. And we're going to talk about a little bit while I'm stirring this. Carpano is the original vermouth. So when I say that, I'm talking about 230 years. This is how old the Antica formula is. That's how old the family released it to the Branca family and the recipes. So we hold true to all of that today, which we're very, very, very proud about. I'm just going to pour this in the glass. There we go. And then I'm just going to take my spoon. You can do 2 things. So if you're using a higher proof and a high rye, then you can also do a lemon twist. For this, because I have a high rye bourbon that I'm using today, I just decided to do a cherry because I just kind of want to see it sit together. And please also put any questions in the chat. I will come back after I make these 2 cocktails and we'll talk more about them afterwards, just so you know. I also want to talk to you about Carpano. When I did say 230 years old, I want to repeat that again because this is the original vermouth. Without Carpano Antica formula, you don't have the category of vermouth. They created what that name is. And that comes from all vermouths have wormwood. So vermouth, especially in the area they are, that is what the name was from wormwood. So that was really, really important to it. Also, something people forget about, especially in the sweet vermouth category, is that all vermouths are made from white grapes. So I always tell people, please put it in the fridge. Because if you do not put it in the fridge, what you're going to have is a fortified wine that's turned. So think about your white wines and your reds. They only can last so long. But because it's a fortified wine, once you put it in the fridge, you have about a good 6 months to a year, depending where you live and what the temperature is like, for it to be good. And I'd also say that even if it's right on that edge and you're not sure, put it much you miss them. We are going to go on to the Negroni. This is a great cocktail to have. Like, I think a Manhattan's a great one to sit with your friends, kind of that after dinner drink. But I really think the Negroni is where you can begin, especially because we're using the Carpano bitter and with our vermouth, because the botanicals is really going to open up your palate, which is great when you're having big meals because it really allows all the flavors to come in. Okay, so here we go. So for this, we're going to come in with 1 ounce of vermouth. I'm making this one in the glass because I like to put this on the rocks in the glass and then stir. because I like, and you'll see my ice in a minute. I really like having a bigger ice cube. You can get molds. You can find someone locally who creates the ice cubes, just because I like this cocktail to evolve. Kind of like an old fashioned. We're gonna go 1 ounce of the bitter. There you go. And this, I did a London style botanical gin. I really like that with our botanicals because it really comes through, especially because we have one of our big botanicals besides the wordwood is we have saffron in here. And you also, as a highlight of our Antica, is Madagascar vanilla. So with these 3 ingredients, they really bond to the other botanicals, which really highlights this cocktail. And I do like using these 2 together because these were specifically made off of, and we also have another one called Punta Mat, Antica. They were inspired by the botanicals and this vermouth. So they really all go together in such a beautiful way. Let me get my ice cube here. We're gonna put that in, and you're gonna see, I'm just gonna stir. So I'm not gonna over stir this. I'm just gonna get enough, again, to marry all those ingredients together. And just kind of let that sit. And for this, I really love using an orange twist. With our Carpano botanicals, we have 2 orange peels in them. We have a bitter orange and a green orange peel. So this, you're gonna see me do a zest, and you wanna hold it just a little far away because you wanna get the sweet part of the zest, not the bitter, since we already have that in there for you. And you're seeing me wipe the glass. I like to do that because the aromatic gets back on your hands. So you have this really nostalgic smell going 2 ways. Okay. Oh, wow. This is why I'm glad it's Friday. Okay, I'm gonna come over to my computer and I'm gonna open up the chat so I can see a couple of your comments and we can go from there. Let's see what we have. I have from Chris, I like the Negroni smell and taste. I do too. It's one of my favorite cocktails. And what I love about this cocktail even more, it can go from summer, fall into winter, and it's an enjoyable drink with all of your friends. So that's what's really refreshing about this. Do we have any other questions out there for anyone? Am I missing anyone? What's the difference between a Blanco and a Rosso? That comes down to, so like when you're seeing the color change in sweet vermouth, we use a caramel as sugar. It's also the saffron giving it that darker color. So with Blancos, it's going to be the most Italian. So I'm not going to say this for all of them. Most Italian vermouths, specifically ours in the Blanco, that comes down to the grape. So that's the same thing. Since I said they're all made from white grapes. Rosso, that can get in a little 2 different parts. It can become botanicals, but it's also, that has to do with the grape. So that's kind of that weird changeover right there. Did that answer that question? Oh, and I should say, like between Italian and French vermouths, French really are about the grape. So they really want to highlight that. And Italians, I mean, we are very much about the grape, but we also like the botanicals in there, especially because we like to drink it on its own. And we like it to be able to marry it with the other ingredients like whiskeys and gins and really make a cocktail. It's like making food. It has all these beautiful seasonings. Okay, good. I'm glad I answered that. Perfect. Anything else out there? Because I know vermouth, that's why I keep saying put it in your fridge, because I think sometimes we think about our grandfather, grandmother's vermouth or what that was, and that's because you probably tasted a vermouth that went really bad. And again, that's like trying a wine years from now or like years after, and that's what it tastes like. What is my favorite gin making a Negroni? Oh, that's so hard. It's like, you're gonna make me pick one. With this particular, with ours, I like Forge gin because I really think they blend it with this new American style gin was, and they really put in that idea and gave a look back and a respect to London style. I mean, I've also had like with Hendrix, they all each just change because gins to me are like for most or anything else, they all have that little special. So that is going to be like kind of what you feel for your botanicals and what you like. But I like Ford's because I think that it really, specifically with our ingredients, the botanicals just match up really beautifully. Anything else? Let's see what we got. Oh, now a favorite bourbon in Manhattan. Okay. Usually I do like a high rye in my Manhattan. And when I'm saying that is, I like usually just having a rye. A lot of times in my old fashions, I don't use bourbon. And that's just me being a true Kentucky girl. I just like sitting my bourbon kind of neat, or I like it in the old fashioned, where I do like high rise. So that can go anywhere from mixtures. I also like Woodford. If you're going to do this style, I also like doing Woodford 50-50. So in a Manhattan, it's usually 2-to-1. With Woodford, I like splitting them 1-to-1 and then putting an ice cube on it and letting it sit. For me, I feel like when I use a bourbon and I do it the 50-50 way, that I can tend to have more, and I have more enjoyment with friends because we're going to have like 3 or 4 cocktails and not just be like, woo. So that's that. Which is better for the Negroni? What is the better, orange juice or the peel for the fruit? Negroni, always orange, and that is the classic style, but I would say orange all the way. And if we're gonna go specific oranges, I mean, that sometimes we've even had fun with blood oranges, because that blood orange, depending when they're in season, can give a little bit of that grapefruit and orange flavor to it. So I really do like that, but I would just say a really beautiful navel orange, and just make sure that they're in season. But I love the peels on them. They have better, the peel when you actually put it in and discard it, or not put it in, not discard, but when you actually get the aromatics off of it, it just has a thicker skin. So it allows you to get all that aromatics, and you get the beautiful ones in them. So that's why I would say a navel orange. And ditto if you're just slicing the fruit in there, which is also an option that you can twist it in. A navel orange, especially in season, they're not too sweet, they're not too that sugary, they're just like right in that perfect middle. So that's what I would say. Do you know what is the day? National, I used to, but because of where we are right now in time, it's in September right now. So September is National Negroni Day, or they do usually a week. And I want to say it's the 1st through the 8th this year. I'm pretty positive, but that just got changed. So usually it's in June. Oh, I would love to tell you about the reverse Manhattan. So like I just talked about, we talked about the Manhattan being 2-to-1, and that's 1 part Antica formula, and then 2 part of your rye. And then I also talked about like I like splitting them equally. I call that a 50-50. So with the reverse Manhattan, you're actually just switching it. I call it kind of Mr. Potato Head. So you're taking your 1 ounce and putting that down to your whiskey, and then you're taking your 2 ounces and putting that with Carpino. Now with this one, again, I like letting it evolve a little bit to open up. I like putting it on a cube, but I also think this is really great straight up. And I have a lot of friends that do this and they make slushies with it, which is beyond amazing. Let's see if we got anything else. Did that answer for the reverse Manhattan? I think so, yeah. Perfect. I don't know if we have any other questions. I'm going to hold off a couple of minutes just to see what else you all have, and I'll enjoy this a little bit. And then if we don't, you can always please reach out to us and then ask any more questions too, because I know sometimes this can all be a little overwhelming, or just kind of just speaking out about like what you like and enjoying the conversation. So. And please, if I miss anyone, just if you will retype it, because I did get the comment screen on a little bit late. Let me see. Okay, we did that. We did that. Okay, I think we're good then. I mean, thank you for joining us. Or let me just actually check. Yeah. Or you know what? I will hold off a couple minutes. I was just looking at time. I don't want to make sure that people got on late and didn't get to see everything. Oh. Would I change any of the proportions when making a boulevardier? I like the proportions of a boulevardier. Thanks, Kyle. I really do. I think this comes down to preference, I'm going to say. I do change a lot of ingredients now because I've made a lot of cocktails. So it just depends what kind of mood I'm in. So if I want to have more of one cocktail, I do up my low ABV in the cocktail. So in a Boulevardier, I would up a little bit in Antica and take a little down, and then change my proportions with my whiskey and a couple other things. But other than that, I tend to like bitter with my low ABV, and that just depends what kind of mood I'm in. And if we're gonna have a couple of cocktails and sit and talk with friends, or you're just gonna have that one really, big boy one, and then just kind of take the night. What food is going to prepare with these cocktails? To prepare with them, I have done everything with my Manhattans. I think that's true to style. Is I like it after a big meal. I'm more Italian, so definitely pastas, because I talked about you could freeze your vermouth. And what's great about this, you can put it into your sauces, especially with the pastas. It's also a great marinade when you're doing barbecues and want to do meats and kind of put that flavor into them. It gives you that beauty of red wine, but holds up because we have like the herbs and botanicals in there. So it gives a lot of flavor to them. So those are my favorite ways to use it. I love using it in sauces. And I love having a Manhattan with that, like that kind of in a pasta barbecue, that kind of steak that's very seasoned. Where Negroni, I really love having this with sometimes a lighter meal. That's more like my fish and seafood. It's amazing with. I would suggest that, especially if you want to open it up with like a seafood platter or oysters or whatever. So that's one of my favorites for it. Let's see. What music would I pair with these cocktails? Again, that's a mood choice. So definitely fun, upbeat. If I'm outside too, I mean, if I'm by myself and it's a book night with a Manhattan, I would do some opera. I'm not gonna lie. But if it's a lot of friends over and stuff, definitely upbeat and fun. And these are made, it's very Italian, they're made to talk, you're made to socialize with these cocktails. This is why cocktails were invented. So I definitely like upbeat. And then ending definitely is something that people can sing with, because you always need a group of friends where you're all singing the same song, no matter who's off key. So that's a definite. Perfect. I think those are all great questions. So I want to say thank you. You know what made me think about that a little bit, especially where we are now. You just don't get to talk about food and all of that and going out right now. So this is great. Okay, I am going to have a beautiful Friday night with my cocktail. I hope that you have a beautiful Friday night with your cocktail. And I'm going to sign off, and I want to say thank you all so much for being here with us. In Branca, USA, please check out the Vermouth. It's something that my favorite thing is bringing friends to Vermouth again, because it's something that they now always drink. So it's good to see you all. I can't see you, but it's good to be here with you, and I will see you later. Bye.